Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about communication. So our Vinyasa flow will be opening up into the throat space, the neck, and the shoulders. And again, our topic of communication will touch on how we can be more in touch with our own inner voice, share that with others, and also be open to listening, because of course that is 50% of communication is listening. So I'm really excited to have you here as always. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up, share with your friends. If you want full-length versions of these videos, they are on my website, laurenroseyoga.com. That's R-O-Z-E. And please bring 2 blocks to your mat. If you have them, I will see you there. So please grab your blocks. If you don't have them, you can also use a bolster pillow. The last couple weeks I've been working with this pose a lot, and after this we probably won't do it for a couple of weeks, so enjoy because it's one of my favorites, supported fish. And I'm going to offer up a little bit of an alternative here for more of a throat opening. So we put our blocks into a 3D capital T shape. And normally they're on both the second level, but this time we're going to flip this bottom one if you want, and if it feels okay for your cervical spine or your neck. That way we can drop the back of the head onto that block and open up the front of the throat space. So if you haven't done this before, we're just going to plant the feet, lower back, line up about your mid-spine, like where your bra strap would be, and then lay back over the blocks. And again, if it feels okay for you, you can drop the head back. If not, just go back to our regular space. We'll show that now. We're going to stay here for about a minute. And I know this is a Vinyasa flow class. Don't worry, we'll be getting warmed up very soon. But it's really important to just relax the nervous system before we get into our flow, which causes potentially stress on the body. So by opening up into the breath before we begin, we actually allow for more opening in the body and more resilience. If you can, breathe in and out of the nose, and just keep your focus on your breath. We're going to begin to come out of this. So maybe you just take a few little wiggles. I like to roll onto one side and reach back to remove the block that was under my spine, and then remove the other block. And we're going to need these a little bit later, so just toss them up to the top of your mat. It doesn't have to be pretty. We're not here to be pretty. We're here to feel good. Okay, so roll back onto your back. Maybe windshield wipe a little side to side with the knees. Place your hands into a cactus shape or 90 degrees in the elbows, and then pick up your hips, drop them over to the right, and then drop the knees to the left. So we're in a recline twist here. And I want you to take deep breaths into the belly. And also, since we are stretching into the neck and throat today, maybe you look over your right shoulder. Let's slowly come back to center. Shift the hips over to the left and drop the knees over to the right. Head can turn to look left. Come back to center. I want you to squeeze in the knees, hook the elbows around the knees for Apanasana or double wind relieving pose. Maybe rock side to side if that feels good on the low back. Continuing to breathe, continuing to have a long spine to allow for more breath. So these cues are not so that you look perfect or you look like an Instagram yoga model, but so that we can have a deeper breath. And if you're rocking side to side, let that calm down. Reach the hands behind the knee pits, and if it feels okay for the spine, we're going to rock up and down, and if not, you can roll off to one side and press yourself up. We'll meet in a tabletop position. So we'll just rock back and forth if you're here with me. Depending on the shape of your vertebra, this may not feel good for you. Then we'll land into a cross-legged position. And I'm just going to tie up my hair, so give me one moment. And we will move into a little neck stretch series. So sit up nice and tall. Of course, if you'd like to sit on a block here, you can. And let's take a couple shoulder rolls to the back, up towards the ears, and then drop. I don't want to suffocate my mic here while I do this. And then reverse. And find your neutral. Pick up the right hand, drape it over the head on top of the left ear, and tilt your right ear towards your right shoulder. Drop the right shoulder away from the ear. Option to take this left hand and tuck it behind your back for a little bit of a deeper opening. And also option to really just slowly on your own breath look up and down at sort of an angle, checking out the different stretches you can get in the neck. And please release this, and let's switch to the other side. And release. If you're in this cross-legged position, hopefully you're facing towards the front of your mat. I'm just gonna rock over my knees and walk myself back into a tabletop. Plant the hands really firm. Plant the knees underneath the hips and really press your fingertips to take pressure off the wrists. And inhale, look forward, reach the throat, drop the belly. Exhale, curve the opposite direction, chin to chest. So I do this in most of my classes, but I want you to bring the focus to the throat and neck. Find your center again. Walk the hands a bit forward. Tuck the toes and press yourself up to a downward facing dog. I invite you to keep your knees bent here since we're still warming up, and press the heart back towards the knees. Just pedaling out the feet. We've got about 2 more breaths here. And let's look forward. Walk the feet towards the top of the mat. You're in a forward fold. Let the top of the head release towards the earth. And roll yourself all the way up. Inhale, arms overhead. Reach it back. Little back bend. Hands come to heart. Lift up the right toes. Step the right toes back. So you're in a high crescent, but then we'll just drop that right knee down. If you'd like here, you can take your blocks, place them around your left foot. We're going to go back and forth between lunge and half split. Again, bringing your attention to the throat, neck, and shoulders as you do this. So we're moving the lower body, but of course it has an effect on the rest of the body. I like to think of the neck as this connection point between the mind and the body. So mind-body connection. Connecting with our body, understanding its needs, its values, its preferences, turning that into language that we then communicate. And land back into that lunge. Place your blocks away from you. Bring your hands behind you to interlace and just come forward into a nice stretch. It's like a modified humble warrior. Come all the way back up. Arms come back overhead. Bring it into a 90-degree angle. Lean back, open the throat. All the way back up, arms overhead. Bring your hands to the ground. Tuck your right toes, step your left toes back. Option to take a chaturanga here from the knees or from plank. Lower to 90 degrees. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, press the hips back, downward facing dog, 3 breaths. Look forward, bend into the knees, step or hop your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Roll yourself all the way up to standing. Inhale, arms overhead. Little back bend. Back to heart center. Lift up the left toes. Step it all the way back into crescent on the other side before dropping that left knee down. Grab onto your blocks. Frame up your right foot. And we're just going back and forth between lunge and your half split. So as I mentioned in our introduction to this video, thinking about communication, it is both expressing and listening, which in my opinion, to sort of properly do both, we have to be in the body. We have to be present. So right now we're grounding into the body and really bringing the attention into the throat and neck space, connecting the mind and body. Last little round here. Land back into your lunge. Arms come behind you. Interlace. Drop right shoulder to right knee. Come all the way up. Arms overhead. 90-degree cactus shape. Open the neck. Back to your crescent. Arms come down to frame up right foot, left toes tuck, right toes step back to plank or modified plank from the knees. Lower down to 90 degrees or all the way to the belly to lift up on an inhale for cobra or upward facing dog. And then pressing it back through tabletop or through plank to get to your downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Step or hop to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Fold. Roll up. Arms overhead. Reach it back. Hands to heart center. And we're going to take a version of this, but a little bit different. Lift up the right toes. Step the right toes back. This time, option to keep the right knee off the ground. If you want to put it down, that's fine too. Let's interlace the hands behind the back again, switching so the opposite thumb is on top. And drop yourself down into that humble warrior. Maybe you take a wider stance with the feet for more balance. Come all the way up, arms overhead, open it up into 90 degrees, look up. I'm a little restricted here with this wall next to me, but hopefully you can get a really nice throat and chest opening. Raise the arms back overhead. I want you to step your right foot up about halfway up the mat, straighten the left leg, square the hips, come forward. Maybe you grab onto your block. We're in a pyramid pose. And I want to play with the spine here. So inhale, make a flat back. And exhale, neck comes closer to the leg. And on your last one, just relax over that left leg. Maybe you shake out the neck. Bend back into the left knee. Step the right foot back. Place the blocks out of the way. Frame up left foot. Step left foot back. Optional chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, and let's take it all the way up to the top of the mat, no pause. Inhale, up halfway lift. Exhale, fold, roll it up, arms overhead for a little back bend. Hands to heart center, lift up the left toes, step the left toes back, find your crescent lunge, swing your arms behind you, opposite thumb on top, interlace, bring the right shoulder to right knee. All the way back up, arms to your 90 degrees. I'm facing diagonally to avoid my wall, but you can hopefully face forward. Back to your crescent. Step it forward. Find your pyramid pose with your blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can place the hands onto the shin. Inhale, come up with the spine, and exhale, come down. Let the head hang loose for a moment. Set the blocks out of the way. Final chaturanga, step right foot back. Lower down. Inhale and exhale, down dog. Let's drop the knees. Sit it back into a child's pose. I like to bend my elbows and rest my hands underneath my forehead. Stay here for a few breaths. Slowing it back down. And roll yourself all the way up to a seated hero's pose. Sit off to one side, and we're going to find our way onto our backs or in a supine position. So just plant the feet, maybe reach the arms forward, and roll it down. Find yourself on your back one more time. Let's take a couple breaths here. Maybe place the hands to the belly. Good. Plant the feet so they're a bit closer to your butt, like lined up underneath your knees. Place the hands onto the earth, plant them firmly. Lift up the hips into a bridge pose. Even lift the sternum, so maybe you start to get a stretch in the back of the neck. And I like to interlace my hands behind and then press my hands into the earth, and it gives me a really good opening in the sides of the neck where it connects to the shoulders. Go ahead and lower that all the way down. Final thing here, roll over to your left and place your hand underneath your right bum, and then do the same on the other side. So you're kind of sitting on your hands or forearms depending on the length of your anatomy. Straighten out the legs in front of you. We're coming into fish. So at the beginning of class we did supported fish, and this is regular fish. So point the toes, lift up onto the top of the head, open up the heart, crawl the elbows in towards each other, and with your eyeballs, look towards your third eye. Feel the throat opening. Press the chest forward. And let's release it down. Come up off of the hands. If you need to take any other stretches before you hit your Shavasana, please feel free to do so. And once you arrive here, just open up the palms to the ceiling, tuck the shoulders in underneath themselves, and let go into the earth. So today's topic was communication. Maybe take this moment to reflect on your communication, areas that you feel you're very happy and proud of. Maybe some areas that you'd like to grow and develop a bit more. And finding acceptance of where you're at. Feel free to stay in this Shavasana as long as you like. And of course, you can follow this video up with my meditation on communication. And they pair very nicely together. I'm so honored to guide you through this practice today, and I hope to see you again soon.